Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. Anywhere you go, I'll be right there.
Today we're in the 2016 Lexus RCF. We've had this car for a week, so we've gotten a good amount of time to actually experience what it's like to live with. The RCF has gotten quite a bit of backlash from some big names in the automotive journalism industry. And part of that is because the new generation of $70,000 sports coupes is really incredible. The BMW M4 has pushed the envelope with the twin turbo setup, same with the C63. The M4 weighs 400 pounds less than this. It has a better double clutch transmission. This has a normal automatic. But there's something about this car that makes me absolutely love it. It's an intangible factor that you can't really describe with numbers.
You can't describe it with numbers, but we'll try to use a few of them. It still has a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8, while the competition, like Parker mentioned, with the M4 and the AMG, are going to forced induction. Now, this big 5-liter V8 makes 467 horsepower and 389 pound-feet of torque, which is a lot. Nice linear, it sounds great. 60 happens in 4.4 seconds, which is a little bit slower than the competition due to the fact that it is heavier.
And it's naturally aspirated, so it's a little bit lower on torque. But what you lose in that, you gain back in sound. This thing has a really nice induction noise, all from the motor.
Yeah, I like that.
It sounds so nice.
It does sound a lot better than the M4.
Absolutely. The one thing is, auto manufacturers are always struggling to make the cabins more isolated, more refined, but then people in a car like this want to be able to hear the engine. So it is augmented with some fake engine noise that's matched with RPM as well as throttle input. So when you step on the gas more, it actually gets louder than if you were to gently rev the car up to redline. But regardless, fake or not, it sounds really, really nice.
Very good.
So here's a topic that many people debate about, and it's controversial: the looks of the RCF. Personally, I really like it. I like the spindle grille design, the Nike swoosh style, although there's supposed to be L's clearly, daytime running lights, as well as the big slats in the side and the stacked quad exhaust, as well as the 20-spoke optional wheels on this car.
That's a lot of spokes with a lot of time to clean. I personally don't love the way it looks. It certainly looks aggressive, very aggressive. In pictures, it doesn't really convey that well to me. It's kind of misjoined, in my opinion. Random bulges. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I prefer the graceful proportions of the M4 and the C63 over this. But it definitely does look pretty damn mean if it's on the road.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that it kind of looks like some people designed the front, the others designed the back, the other team designed the middle, and then they just kind of stuck it all together and hope that it worked out. That's true. This is a
GSF in the front, an ISC in the middle, and something else in the back. So it's a Frankenstein car.
It's 3 different cars at once, but it doesn't feel like that when you drive it. The highlight of this car is the handling. Now, it weighs a lot, 4,000 pounds. Cars are getting heavier and heavier, and thankfully BMW at least is trying to keep the weight down. And even with a lot of aluminum, this car still weighs quite a bit. But the steering response seems to convey a different message than its curb weight suggests. Initial turn-in is incredibly instant, and this car has an optional torque vectoring differential. It comes on the $5,500 performance package, which also comes with a carbon roof, carbon interior bits, and a carbon spoiler. The torque vectoring differential is pretty cool. You've got 3 different modes. Normal, which probably does nothing. Then you've got slalom mode, which disperses the power between the inside and outside wheels around a turn in a way that helps a little bit more for body rotation around a corner. It also preps the car to go back and forth quicker if you're on tight, twisty back roads. The track mode heightens stability at higher speeds so that all of a sudden you don't completely lose it. Of course, it is rear-wheel drive, which makes it fun. When you're in normal mode with traction control on, it cuts the traction way harder than I would like. BMW and Mercedes are a little bit better at giving a little bit of leeway beforehand, but if you turn it all the way off, or if you press and hold traction control, it turns it into track mode with traction control off. and the
Drift
car
time.
absolutely drifts. Furthermore, with the controls in the interior, you've got Eco Mode, which probably would never use, but it has a really cool display on the screen that basically, instead of a tachometer, is the reverse of that. As you step on the gas, it basically tells you, stop, you're killing the environment. And then
Save fuel.
Sport Mode is my favorite in terms of the display. It looks very similar to a Lexus LFA instrument cluster. It is fully digital for the tachometer. The speedo is analog, and then Sport Plus you have a different mode yet again. It is cool though, when you rev it up in certain modes, it keeps where the RPMs were prior to that, with a little blue line.
Yep.
What the point of that is, I have no idea, but it definitely looks cool.
It looks cool. Interior wise, it is really cool. The materials are excellent quality. As usual, Lexus's build quality is unmatched. Got some carbon trim in here, so that's a differentiation between this and the RC350, which we have driven before. But I mean, overall, architecture-wise, it's the design language of Lexus. You got the big horizontal type of dash, and a lot of the similar buttons and knobs that all feel cool. One of my favorite parts is the temperature gauge, which you slide up and down, and it's touch sensitive.
The seats are really comfortable. They are pretty supportive with the bolsters to keep you in place. What do you think? You weigh a bit more than me.
Yeah, they're a little bit snug, but they're fine. They look really cool. The design, the like mesh in here and the little cutout there.
They definitely look cool. I love the stitching. In the back, you've got leg room, a tiny bit of leg room. You're not cramped there, but the headroom, it's not good. But with all sports coupes, I mean, you're not really looking to fit full-size adults in the back. The steering wheel fits really well in your hand. The 9 and 3 position is clearly optimized on the steering wheel, which is nice. Sometimes it feels like the steering wheel is better held at 10 and 2, which is just not the right performance driving position. And the paddles are nice, although it's an 8-speed automatic with the torque converter. It does not respond as quickly as the MCT or the DCT in Mercedes and BMW. That's something that they definitely could improve in this car. I, in contrast, don't really like the center dash display, how it's layered like that. I mean, think about what the new C-Class looks like with that beautiful
unbelievable
swooping. And even the BMW is just...
This has been around for a couple years, though. It's essentially IS interior, and it's in need of it. The C-Class is brand new refresh. Think about the previous gen C-Class. That was
absolutely
great. So yeah, once they update this, one of the stupidest
I like the analog clock.
This though, the stupid Lexus touchpad mouse thing.
It is a step better than when it had the joystick, but still, I think they should get rid of it and introduce kind of a scrolling knob or something where you get more force feedback, where you can actually tell what you're doing, and you have a little bit more control than kind of this random playing around. The multimedia system is okay. It doesn't look very nice. It
just works.
It works, but it's not something that would be a reason to buy the car. We've got an upgraded Mark Levinson sound system, which we should test out.
825 watts?
825 watts. That is a lot. I don't know if I would spend the extra money to upgrade the sound system. I'd say eliminate that one. Performance package, absolutely. It's expensive, but that torque vectoring differential is key.
So yeah, this car was spec'd to $79,000.
It's expensive for sure.
That's a lot of money.
But all of them are all these cars are costing more and more.
That's exactly, yeah. You want a luxury sports coupe from a prestigious brand.
People are saying like, yeah, $79,000 is so expensive for an RCF or blah, blah, blah. But the base price of an M4 is more than this, and the C63 is even more than that. Cars are just getting crazy. They're getting disproportionately expensive compared to people's incomes.
You get a ridiculous amount of stuff for that amount of money. You get a V8 making over 450 horsepower, torque vectoring differential, you get lots of luxury content. I mean, it's amazing what you can get, though.
Yeah, in terms of like one generation to the next, the cars are not staying the same price and just getting better. They're costing more and getting better.
Yeah, so
but
that's what happens.
I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of them. So let's let Eddie drive, get your driving impressions. I've lived with this more than he has. See what you think about it.
All right. The steering wheel does feel really nice. It's like the perfect size, and yeah, I actually do like that.
I think the turn-in's really nice. Feels really responsive. What mode are you in right now? You're in Sport Plus.
Sport Plus,
yeah. Slalom.
God, it sounds good.
It does sound really good.
But yeah, the transmission response is not that good.
Well, you're in drive right now.
I'm in drive.
Sport.
All right, so what are some of the things that you love about this car?
All right, I love the sound. It's
Yes.
got a naturally aspirated V8. It doesn't get the noise sucked up by turbos. I like the styling a lot, and I love the way the car handles in general, and especially for how much it weighs.
I will agree with the styling, that it looks extremely unique and it stands out, unlike pretty much most of the cars on the road, especially this insane bright orange paint. Just looking at it drive by and
Yeah, it's called Molten Pearl.
That's
pretty intense.
It's an intense name right there. But like an M4 and a C63, they will sort of blend in styling wise to a regular BMW 4 Series, something like that. Whereas this just kind of stands out a lot more.
It's definitely unique. And the people I've shown this car to were like, "Wow, that is a really nice Lexus."
That is.
They were pretty impressed.
My personal favorite, I love this in the blue, the dark blue.
Yep.
That is my favorite combination.
Things I don't really like, the transmission is a generation behind. The double clutch transmissions in cars, you expect something to be something that adds to the car's performance, not something that slightly takes away. And this is kind of not quite what you'd expect for an $80,000 car.
Correct.
It is pretty fast, though.
It is. I mean, there it was spinning, but it launched and it went.
Also, the technology in the interior is pretty
feels outdated.
And the styling, I'm not a huge fan of. But I mean, overall,
You really love this car.
I really like this car.
You extremely enthusiastic, everything about it. It is a cool car.
You would
I go with the Germans.
with have one of the German
Correct.
cars. I might lean that way, but this is much more of a contender than I ever would have thought.
This is more unique and unconventional as opposed to.
I think it's something that you just want to be different, so you're like, screw it, I'm gonna get
a bright
the
orange
RCF.
Lexus.
And certainly it stands out, and it's unique. Nobody really has these. It's kind of a, like I said, an unexplainable aspect of the car, probably because it's so different that I don't know.
Like you said, it's
I really like
intangible,
it.
something, and it does feel special. I think it's this motor. I think it's that engine. That is my
engine's
favorite
pretty
part.
awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat naturally aspirated V8 goodness.
Well, there you have it. We both liked it. I liked it a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse our channel and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Instagram @VehicleVirgins. Look forward to seeing you next video.